Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Just Like You show. I am your host, Alexis Christine, and I am a spiritual mindset coach and Reiki master, helping women break through their limiting beliefs, rewire their brain, and manifest the life of their dreams. Just Like You is a podcast for all of the divine souls looking for guidance on their healing and ascension journey. We explore the depths of the universe, hold space for vulnerable conversations about spirituality and self-development, delve into the esoteric things like how to manifest, star seeds, the astral realm, and shed light on taboo topics such as plant medicine and so much more. I am honored that you are here to take this journey with me. I want everyone listening to be able to leave each episode feeling inspired and having learned something tangible to take away into their day-to-day life. If you feel called to work with me or explore this work deeper, please reach out at imalexischristine.com or you can DM me on Instagram at iam.alexischristine. Yo, what is going on, my Just Like You fam? Welcome to season 3 of the show. I know that I have had a longer season break than normal, but I have been going through lots of changes in my life, and I really just needed to find my grounding, get settled before I could sit and actually start creating content that I was 100% present in. So if you guys don't already know, I have moved to Costa Rica. I've been here now for a couple weeks, and I don't know, man. I'm just living life over here. It is so different, and it's interesting because when I was at home, like in London or in Toronto, in my brain, I was like, oh yeah, like I can see the matrix. I know that I'm going to get out of it and I'll be fine and all of these things, right? Like I could see the difference between people who were in it, and I had woken up enough to see that I needed to get out, but I was still in that corporate job. And so I quit the job and I moved. But being here fully out of the matrix, it's so different than I ever could have imagined. The lifestyle, the way people are just living and supporting themselves over here, and just the vibe. I literally don't even know how to explain it, but it is breaking my brain in the most amazing ways and really just showing me how much more there is to life than we ever could imagine. And I'm really excited. I'm really enjoying it here, and I cannot wait to see what the rest of this year brings. I have so many different adventures planned. My coaching business is growing. I'm going to be launching a course soon. I can't even describe it. There's just so much. I'm so excited. And this is the first episode of season 3, so I really just want it to be a little catch up, a reintroduction to this new life that I'm now living. And I've had so many people ask me why I chose Costa Rica, how I ended up getting here, how I'm being able to afford everything, and like just very, I guess, kind of admin-y logistical questions. So I thought I'd cover those here as well, just so everyone can understand, I guess, if you're wondering those questions but are a little shy to ask too. I am all about full transparency. I don't like to gatekeep anything. If I'm doing this, you can do it too. So I'm more than happy to share all the details of how I'm making it happen. And I'm going to talk about my experience here in the first 2 weeks, some things that happened that I wasn't expecting, what's different, what is exactly as I thought it would, and just kind of go into the misconceptions of what it's like moving into a tropical country. Okay, but before we start, what I want to do for these episodes is pull a card for the collective with the intention that wherever you are, whoever you are, whenever you are listening to this episode, this will be a message that you are aligned for and ready to hear. So today's card is called Clarity, and the related elements are citrine, so the citrine crystal, and the sun, and it is all about revitalization, self-expression, and release. And what we're really looking for at this time is to seek clarity when emotionally and energetically we're out of alignment. And a lot of times this can be due to our ego or the belief that things are happening to us and not for us. So take a moment, consider if you're making space for yourself to re-energize and connect with your soul and your motivations in life and living in true alignment. And you can repeat the affirmation, I make space to acknowledge and revitalize my inner strength. And again, always with card readings, take whatever resonates and leave what doesn't. So let's get into our Q&A episode today and mini life update. The first question that I actually think like 30 people asked me is, why did you move to Costa Rica? And I can truly honestly say that the universe just led me here. So I had a plan for myself. Obviously, you guys know that 2022 was an extremely difficult year for me. Well, actually, maybe you don't know. If you follow me on Instagram, then you will know this. But I was very emotionally drained. I was struggling a lot in my corporate job, living in a city. I went back to just being stress overload and eating my emotions because stress was, I mean, thankfully not something that I dealt with a lot in life. And so when I just had this overload of stress with my work and moving and all of these different things in London, it all just kind of caught up to me at once and I didn't know how to handle it. And so in the year of 2022, well, not even in the year, from I want to say the end of March to December of 2022, I gained 30 pounds because I was really struggling and just not feeling grounded in my body or in my life and very disconnected from what I was feeling and my emotions and basically eating to numb. So 2022 was very difficult, and I knew that I had to leave London. I knew I had to come home, see the family for a bit, save some money, leave my job, and then I had been feeling a very, very strong pull to move to Bali. I don't know why. I don't know what it was, but that was my plan. I was going to quit my job. I was going to move to Bali, and I was going to live my best life out there. And all of a sudden, I got an invite in the mail for a wedding for one of my family members that is in Colombia in March, the day after my 30th birthday. And so I was thinking in my head, okay, maybe I go to Bali and fly back for it. Maybe I skip the wedding. Like, what do I do? I don't know. And then one of my friends on TikTok reached out to me and said, hey, I'm hosting this creators retreat in Costa Rica at the end of February, and I really want you to come. What do you think? And I had to sit there for a second, and I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to go to this retreat, then I'm not going to like go to Bali, fly back for the retreat, fly back to Bali, fly back to the wedding. And then I was thinking I could stay in Costa Rica for a bit in between, but it was still with flights. It just wasn't working. And I just had this pull and this like message from the universe telling me go to Costa Rica first. So basically I quit and I moved to Costa Rica. And so I'm going to be here for about a month total before the retreat that's here. I'll be staying for about a week and a half after. I'm going to be going to Envision, which is this really lit music festival. I've never been to it before, but I've heard like the wildest amount of great things from it. I've never heard people talk so positively about a music festival in my life. So obviously I'm going to go to that. And then I will head over to Colombia for the wedding. And I have a bunch of other plans from there, but I'm not going to speak them out yet. And that is basically how I ended up into Costa Rica. It was just a divine guidance from the universe. The next question that I've gotten a lot of is, do I know anyone here? Because I think for a lot of people, just upping and moving to a new country seems very scary and intimidating. And I get that. That's when I moved to London the first time. I didn't know a single soul. I just had a couple family members that I had met once when I was 10. And so I didn't really know them. I mean, like I knew them, but I didn't know them, you know. I had no friends, didn't know anyone. And it was a scary experience. And when I went to Mexico and lived there for a month, I didn't really know anyone. I knew one person who I hadn't seen in over 2 years, hadn't really spoken to in over 2 years. So like I get it. And when I came here, I want to say I half knew a person. So the friend that invited me on that creators retreat, she lives here. She's actually from Toronto. We met over TikTok in September, and I met her in person for the first time this, I guess, January. It was January. So she is the only person that I know here. Obviously, since then, she's introduced me to a lot of people because she's been here for a few years and she knows a lot of the people that live here year round. So I do have a bigger community of people here now that I can talk to and hang out with. And I actually have a friend from my June ayahuasca retreat. If you guys listened to that episode, it was the one that was just outside Mexico City where I was basically just purging the entire night. and she is in Costa Rica at the moment. So we met up. She's been hanging out with me for a bit. She's kind of jumping back between where I am and another place. So I do have some community here. I did know some people coming into it. I also know a family up in a different area of Costa Rica. So I'm not going to be there this time, but I know them from Toronto. We all went to the same gym together. They're a lovely family. So if I ever did need anything, I have a contact there too. So yeah, I know people, but I didn't really know them, you know? Sometimes you just got to dive in, not know what's going to happen, and let the universe guide you. And that's exactly what I did. The third question I was getting asked is how I found somewhere to live. People were asking if I was doing hotels or Airbnb or like living in a hostel, which is a no for me. And I actually found this place through Facebook. So in areas like this where there's a lot of expats, a lot of nomads, there tends to be a lot of community groups. So whether that's on Telegram or on Facebook or somewhere else where people are just kind of helping each other find places to rent cars, help with immigration and visas and giving tips and all of those kinds of things. So I was in a WhatsApp group. I was in like 4 different Facebook groups, and I actually found the place that I'm living now through Facebook. It looks exactly like it did in the photos. It was definitely an adjustment because most of the living space, the living room and the kitchen are completely outdoors. There's wooden slats with gaps in between, but there's no actual walls. It's just the bedroom and the bathroom that are enclosed. So that was definitely an adjustment for me, especially being someone who doesn't love bugs. But it's really cute, and I'm super grateful that the universe blessed me with somewhere where I could live without roommates, because I think I'm in a season of my life where I really just need to learn to spend time alone and be comfortable with myself, and that's when a lot of my creativity flows, and it's been really good. I'm really grateful. Okay, the next question. I get this a lot, to be honest, from people who are close to me, and then like randomly from people who are just on Instagram and are curious, and I get it. But the question is, how am I making money? Because I quit my corporate job and I'm kind of just like living out here in the jungle, experiencing life. And the way that I'm making money is through my coaching services. So I am a coach. I'm a spiritual mindset coach. I help people reprogram and rewire their brains, clear all of their limiting beliefs so that they can manifest the life of their dreams. And I have long-term coaching containers that are 3 months. I have a smaller container, which is only 2 weeks, just kind of like help you break through some blocks, give you a meditation, and off you go. I also provide Reiki services. I provide custom quantum jump meditations, custom manifestation meditations, and custom neural reprogramming meditations. So I do a lot of little things on the side to earn money. And then the next question that I guess kind of leads into this was, how can I afford to be here? Because Costa Rica is very expensive. And everything's in US dollars. So as a Canadian, not really great. But thankfully, I was living rent-free in London for the last 3 months I was there. I did spend a lot of money in those 3 months because in my brain, I was like, oh, I no longer have to pay rent. Now I'll invest in all of these coaches, and I'll join a gym and hire a PT and travel and spend money on things. So I didn't save that much, but I definitely saved. And then obviously coming home, I don't pay rent to my dad when I live at home because, you know, that's my home. So I was able to save some money those 3 months as well. So I have a little bit of savings to fall back on, plus the income that I'm making online. I am still cautious. I'm not frivolously spending because I have a lot of traveling that I'm doing this year, and I just want to make sure that I'm supported all the way through. But yeah, that's how I'm affording it and making money. And now I'm going to go into some things that I wish people told me before I came here because I was not ready. But the first thing, which I feel like I should have just expected, but it's be ready for the bugs because they are everywhere. And once you're here for a while, they kind of chill. But when you come from a North American country, even the food that we think is good still has chemicals and sugar and all this bullshit in it. So when we come here, our blood is a lot sweeter and the bugs just attack. Once you're here for a while, all the food here is a lot cleaner. So your blood isn't as tasty to them because you're eating more healthy foods without all of the additives. So I feel like I still get bitten here and there, but it's nowhere near as bad as when I first got here. And in my place, I had, within the first couple days, an ant infestation. So that was really fun. I found like 4 cockroaches that I had to kill. There was a scorpion in my bathroom. And all of these bugs, by the way, are in the enclosed area, not the outdoor area. Somehow the outdoor area has less bugs in it, unless it's like at night and I have the lights on, then you just see the bugs flying around the lights. But yeah, these were all like in my bedroom, in my bathroom. And I have what I thought was a gecko, but my friend who lives here actually told me it's not a gecko. He said it was something else, but he couldn't remember the name. It's like, looks like a gecko. It's really little, but I have one of those that just kind of lives in my room with me now. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. I just kind of let it be. I'm actually trying to like telepathically get it to come hang out with me. Like I want to be able to hold it, but anytime I come close to it, it just runs away so quickly. But yeah, be ready for the bugs. You don't necessarily need bug spray. I haven't really used mine other than to try and drown the ant infestation that I had. So I would just maybe eat clean. If you're going to come here on holiday, try and eat really clean about a week and a half, 2 weeks maybe before you come to avoid being bitten. Obviously at night you can choose to cover up. If you're on the beach and stuff, it's not that bad. It's when you're up the mountain in the really jungly areas where the bugs are just like living, that it's going to be hard. The second thing is the cicadas. So it's not a problem. Like cicadas are fine, but they're just loud. So for me as a content creator, it's really hard to record anything in the daytime because they wake up around 7:30ish and then they don't stop until the sun sets. And so if I want to record like outside in the nature with good lighting, I can't because you just hear cicadas in the background. And I'm sure in some of my Instagram stories or on some of my TikToks, even when I'm recording in my bedroom, you can still hear that little hum in the background. So that's something that's been challenging. I think right now with my podcast mic, it's actually okay because my mic does a really good job of cutting out background noise. But that is another thing. They're so, so, so loud. It's amazing. Like you're in the nature, but it just makes working a little more difficult. The third thing is you cannot walk outside at night on like the non-paved roads, which I mean, I guess again, probably should have been common sense, but like you're in the jungle here, right? So if you're on a main road, usually like ones that are paved, they're busy enough with cars that the animals don't come out. But if you're walking along a jungle road in the mountain at night, you're going to find snakes, you're going to find wild animals, and it's actually just not safe for you to be walking on them. And that kind of threw a wrench in my plans because in Mexico, when I was living there, I walked to the beach every morning right before the sunset. So it was pitch black, watched the sun rise and then walk back. And I would be able to go out for dinner and do different things and walk back when it was dark outside. And I can't really do that here. So, which leads me into my next thing is that a car is definitely necessary when you're here. So if I wanted to do anything outside of daylight hours, I would need to drive. And I didn't rent a car because they were going to be extortionately expensive because we're in high season. So unless you're living in the beach town and can walk to things, if you're going to be up in the mountain or in a town that doesn't have as much, it's going to be really difficult for you to get around. Because this, again, now leads me into the next thing, is the buses here are few and far between. And they're not really accurate with their timing. So if you come here and plan to take the buses, plan to be there about a half hour early and be willing to wait between a half hour to 45 minutes after the time it's due. All the buses here are privately run. They're not government run. So they kind of just go on their own schedules. And you just really got to go with the flow. Like being here is really forcing me to just go with the flow. I think I've mastered the bus system now. I kind of know the times that it comes at the specific stops that I need. And I know that when I take the bus somewhere, I'm like pretty much there for the day because the buses are like 3 to 4 hours gapping in between. But yeah, that was something I definitely wish I knew. I think I would have just splurged and rented a car if I'd known. And something kind of branching off of this that I think is really important people know is that hitchhiking here is actually very safe, which really surprised me. So when I first got here, I met some dude in one of the Telegram groups who also happened to be Canadian, and we were both looking for a ride to the same place. So we were just planning to take the bus together, and then long story short, we ended up finding a ride with some of his coworkers, and his coworkers also happened to be North American, and they were telling me, oh, if you need to get around, the bus system's really unreliable, like you can just hitchhike. And I was like, really? Are you sure you can hitchhike? Like, that doesn't seem right. And they're like, oh, yeah, it's super safe. And it was weird because the day before when I had my drive from the airport down to where I was, the lady who was driving me we passed a hitchhiker and she was like, oh, normally I would pick her up, but I have you in my car right now and you're my client, so I'm not going to. And I was like, people hitchhike here? And she was like, yeah, all the time. It's very safe. And so these were the second people that had said that to me. And I was like, what the heck is going on? And so when I eventually met up with my friend, I asked her, like, yo, people are telling me to hitchhike. Like, is that actually safe? And she was like, oh, yeah, I hitchhike here all the time. Like, I don't have a car either. And so I've been doing it. And it actually is the coolest freaking experience of my entire life. People are so friendly. And majority of them actually end up being American or Canadian. I've had 2 locals pick me up. One of them I actually ended up seeing at the house party with his wife, who's Canadian, and is now actually one of my clients. Like, the way the world works is just so crazy. I had a cute little Quebec couple pick me and my friend up, and we stopped for croissants on the way to wherever we were going, and they were like the best croissants I'd ever had. So it is just the coolest experience to be part of this like really tight-knit community and feel safe to do those things. But I would like to reiterate, this is for the specific area of Costa Rica that I'm in. For all of the areas, I don't know if it's safe. I don't know what it's like. I'm just talking about like my group of 3 little towns. The next thing, making plans doesn't really work when you're over here. So coming from like normal society, the corporate world, etc., you're very used to having a schedule and like, oh, let's go do this and then we'll do this and kind of making a plan for your day. When you're here, all of that kind of falls to shit. And I mean that in the best way. People here truly are living pura vida. They're living in the moment, free flowing. And every time I've had plans for a day, they just change because I go and do the first thing that was on my schedule. Like say it's meeting a friend somewhere. Things just change. The location changes. We decide to do something else. I stay later than I thought because we go on different adventures. Like, I don't know if you guys saw my TikTok. The day that I had my very first surf lesson, I was planning to just like hop on the bus and come back. And instead we ended up going to a waterfall. And then all of a sudden I was freaking paragliding. And then I was watching the sunset at the beach. And then I took the bus home. So everything else that I had planned for that day after my surf lesson was just like, nope, we're not doing that anymore. Life's throwing adventure at you. So it's really taught me to just say yes to every experience, go with the flow, roll with the punches. And I've had so many adventures. It's been literally the most amazing experience of my entire life. Okay, moving into things that I wish I did differently. The first thing would be probably everything I packed. So I did pack a lot, mainly because I'm going to be going to a wedding after, and I'm going to some other countries that will have different climates, and I just need to be prepared for it all because I'm not going home in between. But I did not realize how freaking humid it is here. Like, I take 3 steps outside and my face is sweating. It's like Toronto 35-degree August heat where you just can't do anything but sit and sweat. And I love it. I love the heat. I love the sun. It's amazing. But I wish that I had packed or even just like acquired, because I don't even think I really own these, more loose, flowy clothing. In Mexico, when I was living there, again, it was 30 degrees every day, but it wasn't super humid. And I was always wearing my workout shorts and sports bras or like tight shirts and, you know, just very tight fitting clothing. But that was very minimal because it was hot. And so that's a lot of what I packed here. But because it's so humid, anything that's tight on you just feels sticky and restrictive. And I end up wearing pants a lot of the time because I have 2 to 3 pairs of just flowy pants. And even though they're longer, somehow they feel cooler than when I'm wearing like my biker shorts from Lululemon. So if you are planning to come to Costa Rica in the high season, highly recommend loose, flowy clothing instead of the tight stuff. At night, it's perfect. You can wear like a tight top and actually I've never really worn leggings here. Like a tight top and a skirt or whatever, and that's fine because the humidity kind of dies down that's a lie. It's still humid at night, but it's cooler. But yeah, no, in the daytime, I'm like struggling with what to wear now because everything is tight that I own. I think I already touched on this, but another thing I wish I did differently was definitely rent a car. That would change my whole experience and I'd be able to see a lot more of the area around me, check out more waterfalls, explore more of the mountains and different restaurants and stores and stuff because they're not all congregated in one spot. It's all kind of spread out. And you can drive past somewhere that looks like it would be nothing, but it's like one of the best restaurants ever. Like I went to this one restaurant that was like a 15-minute drive up a mountain, just like plopped in the middle of nowhere, but it had the most amazing views. But the only reason I was able to get there was because I had a friend who was driving. So I definitely think renting a car is recommendable. And I actually don't have that many things that I wish I did differently, but the third and final thing would be where I chose to stay. So I knew where my friend lived, and I was looking for places around her. I just couldn't really find anything. And so this one was like a couple towns over. And it didn't seem like a long drive. So I was like, okay, like it's a cute little one bed. It's perfect. You know, there's like a couple stores and stuff I can walk to. And so I booked it, and now I'm here. But it's actually really freaking far from where my friends are, where my surf lessons are, and all of the things that I want to do. So if I plan to go there, I have to wake up really early, take a bus down, and basically I'm there for the day. And the last bus is at 4 p.m. So if I want to stay for the evening or the sunset, I basically have to pay like between 40 to 50 US dollars to take a cab back, because once the last bus is gone, like that's it. I have no way home. Overall, you guys, I am literally having the most amazing experience of my life. I feel so at home. My soul is happy. I'm coming back and learning to reground into my body and to feel comfortable just on this earth again. And it's been the most amazing healing journey for me. So I really hope that this episode taught you guys something. If you guys were interested in coming to Costa Rica or looking to make a move like this in your own life but are feeling scared, please, please, please do not let the fear stop you. Growth and transformation is just on the other side. All you have to do is step through and face it. And I hope you guys have the most amazing rest of your day. I love you all, coming from someone just like you.